Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. Today I have with me the energy of a group that calls themselves the Ascended. And they want to talk about the current human deviation from love, which is kind of fascinating. A lot of people have been asking this question because I know a number of you watch solar activity, human resonance, and you try to observe the different things that are actually occurring that could affect humanity in a catastrophic way. And the one that seems to take on the biggest element of it is what the sun is actually doing. This is a really important consideration, what the sun is actually doing. But what's really surprising is you see all these massive activity from the sun that is not directed at Earth for some reason. And what they've been telling me is the reason is that humanity is in a very interesting balancing act right now between whether we're going to continue to live from love or continue to deviate from love. The deviations from love affect your world in your solar system and your galaxy. There are planetary systems in this galaxy that do not have the same concerns about being damaged by their sun or reset by their sun, as some of you have already discovered that does happen here. And these events happen because there are no deviations from love in those places where they do not experience the reoccurring cycle of disaster that you've been experiencing upon this earth for at least the last 72,000 years. And with each reset, the exact same process occurs. Humanity begins, that is the humanoid forms. When we say humanity, we mean the humanoid forms that have lived and are living on this planet. There are different species of humans that have lived on this planet many, many times. And each instant there has been what you call a planetary reset, is when the deviation from love causes such a significant imbalance in the system that it must reset itself, very similar to the way that your body, when it gets a virus or a sickness, it will reset itself. Or if the body gets too hot, it will cool itself by sweating. Or if it gets too cold, it will shiver to warm itself up. The system that you live in is designed to reset itself when it gets imbalanced. Now, your function collectively as a species plays a role in this. You cannot be in the existing function of life that you're in and not have some influence over it. You do. You cannot escape the influence that your consciousness has in the life around you. And when this one started to say at the very beginning that the activities of what you call your sun, the being that provides the energetic structure that allows this planet to exist as a planet, that being reacts and responds to you. And what is happening is it is weighing and measuring the energy that you're giving to it. So these times you see these great activities that would, in many instances, incinerate your planet into nothingness, seem to go off in a very different direction. This happens quite consistently and repeatedly, as the sun is very sensitive to the nature, the quality, and the consciousness of life that it sustains and nurtures in this solar manifestation. And you find yourself now getting into this deviation from love that's beginning to cause a significant imbalance in the overall system of consciousness here. And what you see is the sun will react and respond to that much the same way as a parent would respond to a child in need or in an unruly state, as the case might be. A deviation from love is moving into an unruly state. Deviations of love are easy to observe on the microcosmic scale of your little humanity, greed and anger, authority, power, and control for the sake of one's own gain at the expense of others, these are functions of deviations away from love. And so you have seen in these last 4 or 5 years, there have been several unusual instances, signs in the skies, if you like, that show something different is happening. And you would look up in the sky and say, oh, that is a beautiful red, and that is a beautiful gold, and that is a beautiful green. And you can see the beauty of the dynamic in the color spectrum, but you do not understand that the function of that is a reminder to you. Red is a function of danger in your natural kingdom. Many creatures use the function of red to indicate some form of danger. And you find yourselves now in this position, admiring what is the effect of your collective unconsciousness beginning to imbalance the system in a more accelerated fashion. And it can still be restored. Love can still be restored. The deviation can be corrected. However, utilizing the existing mechanisms you've innovated and have received in some instances to communicate and share information with each other are sufficiently in place enough that you can begin the process of recalibration and rebalancing the function of love in your collective unconsciousness, rather than taking the route that some of you have taken in the belief that if you somehow reduce the number of people that you have on your planet, that you might in fact be able to avoid the deviation sufficiently enough that there will not be a reset. But the very act of trying to harm your own people in an attempt to achieve the balance that you're seeking energetically is in itself a deviation from love and adds to the problem. You accelerate it even more, this so-called, let us get rid of those that we cannot organize or train. But in truth, you have the systems in place to organize and train people effectively, beneficently, lovingly. Put your greed and your power and your authority and your control aside for the benefit of love. Do it for the benefit of love, and then you will find something very different can happen for you. But the very act of trying to reduce the numbers of people with the intention of eliminating the deviation is an act in itself that is a deviation. To do harm meticulously for one's own gain is a deviation from love. And you can watch very closely the functions of the sun and watch in your skies. You are seeing these new colors and you've never seen them before because the deviation is becoming more obvious. And how then do you begin to restore yourself, at least those of you that are here, to the function of love? And how can you then become that service to allow love to be restored for others? The simple answer is to first understand that the functions, the thoughts, and the actions of love are very precise and specific in what they do and the effects they cause. But you can watch readily if your deviation is increasing or decreasing. There are those among you that believe that, again, population reduction was the way to end the deviation. They're finding the exact opposite is happening, that deviation is getting worse. So let us tell you, you cannot do harm and expect to reap the benefits of love from doing harm. And some of you are so entrenched in your acquisition of things and stuff that you have forgotten the real value and meaning of life isn't about how much you have, because how much you have will be temporary anyway. So you have this opportunity to restore yourself. Those individuals who restore themselves to love shall not be harmed. Those who perpetuate harm will indeed perpetuate their suffering. It is not a very complex process to understand this. There are only two functions of energy in your existence, and they are the functions of love and the functions of fear. It is that simple, as simple as up and down, love and fear. And each and every one of you has this miraculous ability to choose as an act of your own free will, whether you will enable and enact the function, the words, the actions of love, or enable the words, the actions, and the functions of fear. It's called free will. And your will is not separate from the world around you, nor is the world around you separate from you. To believe otherwise, to believe that you are somehow separate and insulated from the effects of your own causes, is a grave error that has been made at least 7 previous times, and the corresponding civilizations for those times are all but gone. What then will you do? In hearing these words, what will you do? What is your function of love? How can you, in moments, make a decision? This is love, I shall say. This is love, I shall do. You must come to this understanding. It must be an act of your own free will, we're not trying to frighten you. We're simply trying to tell you that the functions of fear cause effects. The functions of love cause effects. That is all we are saying. And that you have the free will to choose whether you will function as a cause of love or function as a cause of fear. And this is an opportunity. Those who remain entrapped and ensnared by the functions of fear will fall back into a deep sleep of unconsciousness. If the function of fear becomes too intense in this world, then there will be a reset on this planet. Some of you call it the new earth. It does not matter what name you will give to it. But in that process, if you are the articulator and arbitrator of fear, then your function of consciousness will be limited to that. And you will remain unconscious in fear, as love brings you to greater awareness than fear ever will. Love will always bring you to a greater awareness than fear will. Fear is of survival. It is not of creation. Creation is of that one who is awake and aware sufficiently enough that they can and do and will choose. And this time is upon you now. You have a very short window, but you have a great power at your disposal within each and every one of you to function from love or to function from fear. The simplicity of those two choices cannot be underscored enough, that it is a very simple choice in every moment that you can say, is this an act, a word, a thought of love or fear? And those of you that live in the function of fear are affecting those that live in the function of love, as those in the function of love are affecting those living in the function of fear. You cannot separate yourselves from the process that you have all enjoined in. You've all enjoined in this world of creation and experience, this world of will and manifestation. And so you cannot separate your destiny from each other, but you can have a different outcome from each other. That is, those who are closer to the function of love will certainly reap a very different experience than those who are in the function of fear. As we have said, those that continue to perpetuate fear will fall back into consciousness if a reset occurs, and those who remain in the function of love will have a very different experience that we will not elucidate with any great detail here, but suffice to say it is sufficiently more conscious, more delightful, and more beneficent than the former, which is fear. So understand that you have this opportunity, and you can simply Watch. If you choose to begin to end your deviation away from love and return to it, in all earnesty, you will watch, you will bear witness. The sun does not lie. The sun does not lie. The skies will not lie. The greater your love, the greater the beneficence the existence of this world has for you. The greater the fear, the greater the difficulty this manifestation on earth has for you. And while there is no scientific data to support what we are saying, we can simply tell you we know because we've seen it many times before. You have many scientists who have wonderful theories and ideas throughout history, and of course they have all come to pass and be proven true. And we can say to you of our own experience that we know that there are certain functions of manifestation that occur when there's a function or behavior, an action, a thought, or a word of fear, that certain eventualities occur as they do with also the function of love. There are eventualities that are certainties. Hot water is hot, cold water is cold. And how you experience them is how you experience them. Of course, if your consciousness is developed and evolved sufficiently enough, then you'll be less influenced by the events of time and space. Those that are closer to love will be less subjective to the events of time and space. Those who are more based in fear will be more subjugated to the experiences of time and space. Those that are closer to love know that no harm can come nigh thee wherever you go. Now, very few if you understand this. But let's just say the reasoning on why your sun has not changed your planet again, as it has done at least 7 times previously over the last 72,000 years, in major and minor ways in between as well. The reason it has not happened is because your function of love and fear are still sufficiently balanced. But the imbalance is not good either. It is getting a little wobbly. As a car wheel must be balanced on a car to maintain a consistency, so too does the consciousness of your species need to be also, where you interact with everything. And you will bear witness if love is greater or fear. In any moment, you'll see it. Where there is fear, there is destruction. There is greed. Where there is love, there is change and transformation and beauty. And all that you can do for yourself is to, again, ask yourself this question. What can you do today to be in a function of love, in thought, in word, in action? What can you do? And that will make all the difference, because being a function of love can often be the very example others need in order to become the function of love also. Sometimes it is not about what you are not being, but what you are being that is more important. So we encourage you to evaluate this. You've watched even in the last week events where your sun, had it been experiencing your energy differently than it currently does, it would have done something very differently. So understand this, that your consciousness is interplaying with all that is around you. And collectively, you have a greater influence over this than you or your sciences realize. Take heart in what we're saying, for you have a great opportunity. You can end the cycle of polarity if you choose, but love is the way to end that polarity. Love is the way to end that polarity. Good morning, everybody. Hi. So yeah, they came in this morning. We can't hear you. don't understand why that's not working. Well, let's just take this off then. There's a static sound in the microphone. Now let's do that. My apologies. I'll turn this off. I'll try a different microphone and see if that works. My apologies. We are in interesting times, to say the least. Right. Well, we're only going to do a few questions today. I've got lots of work to get prepared for as well. And I apologize for the sound on TikTok. I guess these microphones that they say are really, really good microphones, clearly are not very good microphones. So if you see these advertised, I can't quite see the brand name on them. I'm not going to say the brand name, but if you see these advertised, they're not as good as they say clearly. So do not use them. Into the garbage with you. There you go. Good morning. Yes, it is. Thank you, Carly. Appreciate that. Yeah. Sound is gone. That's probably why this. Thank you so much. We got the sound corrected. So much better now. That's good. So for those of you that want the entire message, you can go to my YouTube channel and get the original message, where it should be much better sound quality on YouTube than on TikTok. And again, I will go back to the other microphone system that I stopped using because I was under the understanding that these ones would work much better. So I'll try the other sets tomorrow or on Friday. Remember, on Friday, we're going to do our healing event on Friday. Oh, and I know on YouTube, you got YouTube and Facebook, you guys can hear me fine, but TikTok, the microphone that I've started using isn't very good. I've had more than a few problems in the last week, so I'm going back to a different microphone that was more efficient before. I wonder if I try this right now. Let's try this right now together. Let's see how this works. Okay, hang on, TikTok. I'm going to go blank for a moment here. Okay, so let's see that. There we go. Tell me how that sounds, TikTok. Sorry about that bang. How's that sound? You're on TikTok? Let me know how that sounds. I just put in a different type of microphone. There we go. Hi, William. A question from Daniela. The split shadow in the garden lately is caused by the sun's oscillation. The sun is still up in the sky and nothing blocks it. I'm not sure. That sounds more like a statement than a question. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that, guys. So I'll use this other set instead of the set that I had. That way we sustain and maintain control in an effective way. There we go. Hi, can my guides say anything about my current situation? Yeah, they're saying right now it's really important for you to spend the time to feel the energy of the peace that you would normally be liking to experience at this time, to really engage daily in being in the feeling of the peace that you would like to be that which punctuates your life. Practice being in the vibration of the peace, especially in the face of the difficulty and the existing confusion that's going on right now. We'll leave it at that for you to consider. All right. Hi. Thank you so much, guys. Somehow we've completed some sort of event on TikTok. I've never been understood that quite yet. I guess I'm going to have to. Hi, Dachana. I've been feeling stuck lately. Do my guides have a message for me? Again, grounding is so important. Get out in the earth. Put your feet on the ground. You need to get your body rebalanced because you're not attracting the right mental information because your body's imbalanced energetically. You need to go out and ground. That's what they're telling me to tell you. You need to go out and ground because your body's imbalanced. So you're not attracting the right energetic opportunities around you because your body's imbalanced, right? Go do that. Go and sit on the ground for 15, 20 minutes. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Wonderful to see you guys. So yeah, the message today, I want to just synopsize the message. Again, I'm going to be paraphrasing for those of you that are on TikTok. And for those of you that were listening to static, I'm being told to tell you, understand the message is more important than the static. Listen to the message and not the static, and you will find that you will absorb the truth more efficiently. But do not get distracted by the distractions. The message is what is important. And what they're basically saying is that the human collective function of love and fear interacts with the environment. It interacts with the solar system. And right now, that are, again, I'm paraphrasing now, essentially with the function of the sun, what the question a lot of people ask is, why hasn't the sun blasted us? Why are all these blasts going everywhere and everywhere? But some of these things would just put us back into the Stone Age, right? Electromagnetically speaking. But it's not happening. And what they said is the human collective function of love and fear is still balanced enough that we're not going to get a blast like that until we shift. But we're headed in that direction. We're getting more fear-based than love-based. Again, you have to listen to the whole message because I don't do well trying to memorize everything they said. So go to my YouTube channel if you want to see the full transmission about how our function individually and collectively of love is more important than anything else right now. If we want to prevent the kind of planetary reset that's happened, multiple times over the last 72,000 years, then we need to shift our energy from predominantly from fear to love. Oh, they did say something else too about the population. There's been definitive moves to reduce the population in hopes that by reducing the population, that balance will be achieved. But the act of reducing the population to try and achieve a balance is in and of itself an act of fear. So the process of depopulation for the sake of reducing the stress on the system is actually an act of fear, not an act of love, and it will actually result in destruction being accelerated as opposed to stopped. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate that super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Does spending time mean meditation? Yes, it does. Spend time every day in quiet repose, getting your mind and your body out of the way. In that place where you're not attached to your mind and body, that's what meditation does. It breaks down the attachment between you, your mind, and your body so that you can get back to the natural state of your soul, which can alter your mind and body very differently than your mind and body can alter themselves. They can't alter themselves. The environment can influence your mind and body to change, and you can influence your mind and body to change, but your mind and body in and of themselves cannot change themselves. So it's really important you understand that the function of meditation puts you into a position where you can also start to get information that's not available to you from this world. There's the physical you, there's the mental you, and then there's the soul or the spiritual you. That you has access to the physical world, and that you also has access to the spiritual world. In other words, the realms of information where those are beings, other dimensions. It's where new ideas, new information have come to humanity for thousands of years from this other realm that's not of the mind and body. So meditation is the practice of teaching your mind and body to be out of your way so that you can begin to commune and connect to your divine nature or more elevated beings that can allow you to get information, right? Remember, John the Baptist was a channel and a medium. So was Jesus. So was Yogananda. So was Buddha. They were channels for divine information. They elevated their consciousness up sufficiently to receive divine guidance and then to extend that to others and hope that others would elevate themselves up. Many beings throughout history have done that. But meditation is the way to get disassociated from your mind and body sufficiently enough that you can begin to grasp new information from the guides, the angels, the ascended masters that you might want to work with, right? Because everybody has them. Everybody has guides. Everybody has angels. Everybody has ascended masters they can connect to. Millions of people pray to Jesus. Millions of people pray to Buddha. Many people try to communicate with Yogananda. It's understanding that you are not unlike the ascended masters, and that you have the same potential, but it's not actual because you're not learned how to put your mind and body out of the way so that you can begin to acquire different understanding and information, not only about who you are, but also about the world around you, right? You can get information that you don't currently have because you can only get in your mind what's in your mind. You can't get anything new out of your mind. New information, new ideas, new understanding come from seeking to solve a problem, and we pull that information in from other realms of consciousness, other dimensions of information. Some people call it the Akashic record. But you can pull that information in, and meditation is the key to doing that. In our masterclass series, you will learn how to meditate effectively. And in meditation, you can learn to heal your body. You can learn to heal your mind. You can learn to heal your emotions. It's not a very difficult or complex process. There are several steps that we will show you that you can take to understand the function, value, and the purpose of meditation in your life. Ultimately, it's about connecting to the divine inside yourself. Learning to connect to the divine inside yourself, right? Because you are divine. You are divine. Chai tea. Chai and tea, I think, are the same thing, but it's just a chai spice. What it actually is a spicy tea. Today is World Meditation Day. We should all make time to meditate today. Yes, I make time to meditate every day. It's really important. I feel stress-free after leaving my 3D job. Any message for me regarding what's next for me? Thank you, William. It's wonderful. Again, now that you're feeling, allow the vibration of the peace you're feeling to guide you. Like that relief and that relief of stress, let that feeling guide you in your next few choices, in what you would choose to do as a function. Let that guide you. Let that energy govern your actions. A lot of people let fear govern their actions, but if you let that peace and that relief you feel, if you let that be the foundation of what makes you choose the next few things, then do that. You'll find a wonderful thing happen for you, Kira. You really, really will. Bridget saying, Yogananda came into my meditation this morning and he's helping with deeper connection. Was a beautiful, loving experience. That's congratulations, Bridget. A lot of people know they can actually connect to Jesus. A lot of people do know they can connect to Jesus. But a lot of people don't know they can, or to Buddha, or to Yogananda, or any of the ascended masters. I do it on a daily basis. You can too. You just have to learn how to shift your perception away from your mind and body to a different state of perception. That's the only way. Meditation alters your capacity to perceive information, not just from the 5 physical senses, but from the spiritual realm of clairvoyance and claircognizance and clairaudience and clairsentience, right? You can activate these other dormant senses that you have. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Oh, you're welcome, Kira. The answer is yes, Irene. I've been waiting a long time patiently. You said I would be approved for a different program in SS. Yeah, you got to let go of the feeling of difficulty. Understand your emotions organize all of your affairs. Very important. A lot of people don't get this. Your emotions, the conscious ones you make up in the daytime, or the unconscious ones you're feeling. Emotions Emotions are the organizers of all of your experiences. All of them, not some of them, all of them. The ones you know you are conscious of and the ones you're unconscious of. In fact, no human action can occur without an emotion of some form. Emotion sets matter into motion. And if you got underlying emotions of, it's taking so long, I'm afraid it's not going to happen, then those emotions are organizing your experience. It's the simple truth. You go into a feeling of great joy and excitement about what you want and spend every day, at least 15 minutes every day, getting really excited about what you want. It's going to happen. It's going to happen because the energy is going to allow that. But what a lot of people do is they get the idea, I want this, and they take the seed of what they want and they think about it for a moment, and then it doesn't happen. Oh, it didn't happen. And they don't put the energy towards it. You put a seed in the ground, it takes time to add sunlight, water to that seed for it to germinate. Excitement, love, joy will germinate your dreams. Anger, fear, sadness, depression will restrict your dreams. They'll kill them. And if you can't control your thinking mind and your emotional energy, it's going to be very difficult for you to create what you want. But you need to do this. You need to get into the excitement of the change. I'm waiting for it to happen out there. You got to get into the excitement of it. Feel it within you. Feel it. It's going to happen. Happen really quick. Remember to like, subscribe, and share if you're watching this. It won't cost you a dime. It'll help other people get this. I am of great joy. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you are of great joy. That's wonderful. But if you read your question reveals a different energy. Yes. We'll do that. Let's do that. I need to find myself. I'm having to change my life path. Any advice? If you really want to find yourself, because a lot of people say, I want to know who I really am, you need to learn how to differentiate yourself from your mind and your body. You need to realize that you have a mind and you have a body, but you're not them. And you need to learn how to assume authority over your mind and body. Most people are controlled by the mind and body, controlled by what other people tell or say. And you need to really teach your mind and body to be still and quiet and peaceful. Like teach your mind, teach your body, even if it's just a few minutes every day, just to be still and quiet and peaceful, and let yourself rest in the peace that you establish in your mind and body. And if you remain in that peace long enough, you're going to start to remember something about yourself. You're going to start to remember how good you really are as a being. Without your mind and your body interfering in how you see yourself, through the process of getting them to be still and quiet, you'll actually begin to experience the vibrational nature of who you really are, not the one that's caught up in the mask of your personality. And you just need to take a little bit of time each day to sit down and not let the mind think for a little while, not let it think, to let the body relax. These are steps towards what you call meditation. And you need to literally take the time to teach your mind to be still, to teach your body to be relaxed and not restless. And as you do that, and I've seen this hundreds thousands of times with people. When you get your mind and your body quiet, you're going to feel something that is so incredible because it's who you are. You are incredible. There's nothing wrong with you. And you will come to feel that truth when the mind and body aren't yammering at you all the time and they're quiet. And you start to feel who you are as a being, not as just a meat sack or a cacophony of thoughts and memories and emotions. We will teach you how to do this. Go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com. Check out what we offer you. June the 14th is our next start date, and you will learn to experience yourself as you really are and not simply as the way the world has made you become. Because no matter what your mind might tell you about what I'm about to say, no matter what your mind tells you about this, it's lying. And this is the truth. There is nothing wrong with you. That is the truth. There's nothing wrong with you. Once you can teach your mind and body to be still and quiet, you're going to know that that's true. If I have any of our students that are here right now, say something to those that are here that they might understand that it's not just words that are falling out of my mouth, but the function of truth. When you come to a place where your mind and body are kept quiet and calm, you return to the righteousness of your being. You start to recognize and remember who you are. You're this incredible, phenomenal soul. You're an incredible, phenomenal soul that's just caught up in thoughts and emotions that once you learn how to differentiate yourself from them, you'll remember and experience the incredible beauty that is you. And then you're going to want to change your mind and body. Then you're going to want to get your mind and body into alignment with the beauty of who you are, rather than trying to modify yourself to fit into your mind and body, which is very difficult. Your mind and body are designed to be your servants, not your masters. Right? Keep that in mind. I'm very grateful. Someone's saying here, I was couch-bound for a couple of years in pain. William helped me to recover. I would say thank you to that, Drusilla. I also want to add that it's the guides, the angels, the ascended masters that give me the information that I give to you that makes the big difference. The questions you ask, the answers are coming to me, to you, right? But thank you, Drusilla, for saying that. Jasmine is asking, why did we once have two sons and why did they leave? You're referring to the time of what they call Eden. In biblical, they call it the garden. In Christian mythology, they call it the Garden of Eden. And it was literally utopia with two suns. The growing seasons were year-round. There was never a lack. Animals and humans coexisted in a profound harmony together. It was quite amazing. And then human consciousness shifted from the function of love to the function of fear. And that shift, well, let's just say that shift caused a great change in the planetary structure, and it caused a great shift in the earth structure. We lost one of the suns because our consciousness was now divided, and the balance of that was broken, right? I'll leave it at that for now, Jasmine. Bridget's here saying, taking the master classes has led me to my true self. You will have experiences that are so beautiful, and you will see so much truth about this earth journey and the journey of your soul. It's life-changing. Kira's saying, courses are affordable and it's life-changing. Highly recommended. Sharon Hopkins, I'm sure I transformed energy in my meditation a week ago. It was truly amazing. Congratulations. Hi there. Any information from, hello, Robert, any information from my masters? I'm getting a song for you. It's from an old Monty Python movie. Always look on the bright side of life. I'm not a good singer, so I'm not going to sing it. They can tell me the song, but I'm not going to sing it. Always look on the bright side of life. Like always. Always. Yes, I know. They want me to tell you they'll always present you with information that's going to make sense to you. She's still doing that, eh? Okay. Right there. You said it was happening and I'm excited. Good. Then stay in that excitement. Stay in the excitement. Stay in the excitement even while you're waiting. Stay in the excitement. Emotion organizes all of our affairs. All of them. Or as my guardian angel John said to me, William, emotion is the fifth state of energy, and it coordinates all matter from the subatomic level all the way up to the planetary and universal and galactic levels. Emotion organizes matter. Question: how can one maintain that feeling of excitement when the outside circumstances appear grim? Do not give attention to the external, do not give power to the external circumstances. Bear witness if you can sustain your excitement even while if things appear grim and you're in a state of excitement, then you're not going to be observing it as grim. The moment you observe that is grim, you've shifted your energy from the excitement to being grim. The moment you go, oh, it's still not working, you've shifted your energy from it's working to it's not working. And a lot of people do that again and again and again, sometimes for many years. Hi, guys. Good to see you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Well, I think we're done now today. Best, somebody's saying here about the classes. Best class you can take for your life. Michael, it is a correct choice in the SS program, just waiting, always with good thoughts. Good. Then it's going to happen. Wonderful. Well, everybody, I've got to get to work now. I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful, joyful day. I look forward to seeing you on the healing day, Friday. We're going to do some healing, and hopefully you'll come back. And if you want some emotional, mental, or spiritual or physical healing, come and join me on Friday, and I'll be channeling the beings that will come to us then, perhaps your guides and angels and others. And I will see you guys on Friday. Shortcuts for your soul at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye for now.